Can we play something a little more upbeat?
Kevin and I rub dawns.
Hello, everyone. It's the chapter a lot of you have been waiting for. Let's just say Matt outscores George. Something Vegas. Let's just get to it. I remember telling my dad I would be leaving for Las Vegas for a few weeks. He told me don't spend a lot of money and don't gamble, space period. I said it'll be fun. Though back in 1983, my dad and I went cross country, but I was too young to appreciate it since I couldn't gamble and too young to go to certain places. Dad said also don't get hooked up with any women of the night. Lol, space comma, I said it's all good. Matt hopped in the BMW and took off cross country. Let me say this was an experience of a lifetime and it was a great time for my life. It will be shown why in this chapter. While we were traveling our first night, we crashed into Memphis, Tennessee, planning to tour Graceland. Ugh. Home of the King Elvis Presley. Ugh again. We got there August 15th, one day before the anniversary of his death. So we went the following day, 22-year anniversary of his death. I remember Matt driving me crazy thus far this trip, wanting to stop just about every rest area so he can shit and piss. Told him he'll need to hold on better, and if he uses the bathroom in the interior of my car, he'll be walking the rest of the way. Lol. So while we got Memphis, it seemed to be a very filthy, dirty shithole of town. Fuck you. We saw a homeless person dancing on the corner, singing Don't Be Cruel.
Don't stay with me, lay with me, don't.
And gave him a $5 spot. The $5 to him seemed like 5,000. We were going to have lunch, but there seemed not to be a place where I felt comfortable parking my vehicle. Matt was bitching again about going to a restroom again, so I dropped him off at a strip club and I was going to go in and check it out. When I got out of the vehicle, this big truck pulled up behind me. They got out and ran over, oof, poor Matt, and held Matt up at gunpoint. I looked up and said, "What the fuck is this?" ? I jumped out of the vehicle scared shitless since they were armed and I wasn't. I said, "What the hell are you all doing? Leave him alone." They said he is a prisoner. They got away from lockup and they are turning him in. I said, "You aren't doing nothing!" ! So double negatives means they are doing something. He is with me from Virginia and he is trying to use the restroom in this club. I told Matt to show them your identification card or license if you have it. By the way, who might you all be? Are you with the police? They said no, they were licensed private investigators that worked with the city trying to find a prisoner who escaped. They looked at Matt's credentials and fiercely, I think he means profusely, apologized, realizing Matt wasn't their culprit. They said if he had a twin, he would be a match. Again apologized and let Matt go. We drove the hell out of there and Matt still didn't use the bathroom, so went to the nearest gas station. Matt was shaken up really bad, and anybody would have been. He felt a vast mix of feelings that he was being a ghost or having a prank being pulled on him from thoughts of being paranoid. When it was getting closer, we were looking forward to taking the tour of Graceland. Ugh. While we were getting ready and paid our admission to see the tour was being hosted by Lisa Marie Presley. What a freaking treat, though I couldn't find my camera space period. I needed my camera to charge. My battery space period. I got smooche with Lisa Marie Presley. It was a treat and an honor to be near her while she was giving the tour. It was a treat? What is she, a dog? She was very effective, and it was a very near somber experience. You could hear it in her voice when she did the tour. She spoke of times when she was little and her closeness to her family, and she was already hurt when her dad was on tour and couldn't be around. Sounds familiar. She explained how she felt when she was alone and also when she was little. I see you fixating on that part, when she was little. Different gold-plated albums laid in cases along while Elvis' wardrobe attire was also sealed in cases in the closet showing his array of clothing he used to wear when he performed on stage. The tour was sobering and educational, and you could feel his presence in the room while his daughter was talking. Lisa gave a great tour, and at the end you saw his resting place where he laid R.I.P. in the resting area. Very emotional, and you could feel Elvis in the room throughout. Elvis was America's favorite entertainer, so most people found him to be #1 entertainer of all time. At the end of the tour, I embraced Lisa and only wish I had my camera. We were being told by management no pictures can be taken. That didn't stop people from sneaking a few shots. Anyway, after Graceland, we went back on the road and planned to be making more tracks. We made good time because we went through Texas with our goal to crash in New Mexico, Albuquerque. I was driving for literally 2 days straight, and he drove the rest of the way gay. We crashed in New Mexico and made excellent time. Went to the strip club T, the Gentleman's Club. Little seedy, but just the way I like it. Of course you do, because it's cheap, you degenerate. Lady took a liking to me, or should I say to my wallet, space period, but space comma. But since that wallet was attached to me, she showed me a great time. We went into this private room where lap dances were $10 for 2 songs. $5 per song. Wow, George knows math. Rates were extremely affordable for the Gentleman's Club. $5 a song, which is really never heard of. Forget the lady's name, but the only thing I was concerned about was her massaging my penis, putting cream on my tip. Little did George know that it was semen. It was other men's semen that she was rubbing on him. It was Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day all wrapped in one. I gave Matt money to do his own thing and not to bother me. It was a great times to be had in New Mexico, and that trend continued while we got closer to the city of neon. Viva Las Vegas. After we left the Gentleman's Club, we traveled on Route 40 West with about 5 hours more to get to the Hoover Dam connected Arizona and Nevada together. While we traveled, we went through the Grand Canyon and drove by the petrified forest, where the story of everything being still and not moving. Arizona seemed to be a wild state with a lot of Indian reservations and majestic beauty in mountains and dry heat throughout with no humidity at all to be spoken about. Once we got to Nevada, we went through this dam called Hoover Dam and finally reached a sign saying La Vegas, 50 miles away. Getting excited and round up since this was the actual first time ever experiencing Vegas, not counting with my dad in 1983 because I was minor. Finally, we could see miles and miles of city neon lights saying this casino and that casino. We finally were in the city limits. Drove a few miles more, and then we got on Las Vegas Boulevard. After all of that, we felt we finally drove to our hotel. Place called Key Largo Hotel, which to this day is no longer in business. Crashed and planned to take in all the scenes of Viva Las Vegas. Original plan was to stay there 2 weeks. We stayed longer, or should I say I stayed longer. I was already going to the casinos. Gambling and poetry was in motion because I laid a $10.00 chip on $1,000 space and instantly won $1,000 on the first spin through the wheel. Bam! I felt like a baby in a candy store. On the first night of being there, Matt was bitching that he didn't have a lot of money and wanted to be given an allowance for helping me bet on a sports book on baseball. At the time, I never really followed baseball to the instinct I did after I won on betting on it, learning more about how gambling worked on betting on baseball. I was more knowledgeable about football than I was about baseball. Learned the game after betting and winning. Matt at times would stay in his room and didn't also go out with me to where I went. Though he had money and money I gave him, space comma, He would stay at the pool most of the day while I roamed the city by foot and by road, driving my Beamer throughout the city. You let him stay in the pool by himself? The fuck is wrong with you? I started going to different casinos, getting acquainted with the street layout of the casinos. Went to Caesar's Palace and stayed on the roulette wheel and won more money just after spending 2 hours of time playing roulette space period. I won $2,000 additional. Ma, I felt like a baby in a candy store, only being there for 2 days and already winning $3,000 just like that. I felt my Aunt Eva with me in spirit helping me to win. Aunt Eva must have been there in spirit helping me to win. I couldn't do any wrong on the tables. Matt wanted to go to the Chicken Ranch brothel and I said all in good time. He kept nagging the fuck out of me going on our second night, so I said alright. We drove out of the limits of Vegas to Pahrump, Nevada, which is a 45-minute drive out of Vegas and where prostitution was legal. It was pitch dark and we drove in the desert. Through the GPS we got lost. We drove through a desert and noticed we came to desert land with no businesses, space, comma.
No, nothing.
There was a police car that actually pulled us and asked me what am I doing driving on private property by the state. Had no idea where we were. The police officer could tell I was from Virginia by my license tags. Good thing I also had my wheelchair placard and my pedophile that I used as my service animal. He said, "You are driving around air missiles and landmines, space period. Too bad they didn't blow up." It was a testing ground for National Security and Investigations for Chemical Testing Ground. While he would roam there, knowing would roam round there. I said, "Well, damn, we are trying to get to the Chicken Ranch, space period." He said there were certain ways you can get there and showed me how, and we finally got there. Little did I know we were in the middle of nowhere. But finally, we got there. Name had changed to something else and the name escaped me. Matt, being a little bitch, left his wallet back in the room. I ended up spending on him as well as myself $1,600. Little bitch weasel his way from paying for his own encounters. The ladies all stood in line. The girl in the back on the intercom said the girls will mention their name only once. If you want them, walk up to them and follow them to their room. I was pissed off, not only because Matt pulling a fast one on me, but no, I paid by my debit card and have no idea how many times they might have ran my card. Learned my lesson for real to only pay by cash. Of course it didn't help to find out later Matt couldn't pay me back because he didn't have that much money. He kept saying, "I'll help you make the baseball picks." I said, "Oh really? Well, they better hit." After the romp in the hay lasted for about less than an hour, so got ripped off from that as well. The lady of the evening said, "You nutted and it took an hour, so it's based on how long it takes you to get your rocks off." I said to her I should be able to get my rocks off multiple times, totaling an hour's worth of time. Matt was grinning cheek to cheek and said to me he was able to bust several loads on the lady he had when I could only bust one load. I said I was going to leave his ass at the brothel and he could walk his way back to Virginia. He started really getting on my nerves. Later on, we got back to Las Vegas and I left him at the hotel room and I looked around for a cozy, yet seated, club to end up hanging out there. Alright guys, quick announcement, this is going to be my last chapter of the year. I'm going to go away, see family. I'll, attend streams and whatnot, but I'm not going to be able to make videos and edit and do streams and whatever. I will do a stream later on Saturday or Sunday, sometime on the weekend, because tomorrow's teachings made another video, hopefully less disturbing than the last. We will see tomorrow or later today or whatever. All right? Take it easy, everyone.